sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping.
Sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping, I'm sipping.
White people love thumbs up. This is Sippin' with Sammie. I am Sippin' with Sammie. Sam Malone, Barstool, Rug. If you ain't sippin' with Sammie, you ain't sippin' right. Get your fucking life together. And I got Saf with me.
And you know I'm in the building. Yo, yo.
Yeah, man. Thumbs up.
I can't.
Nah, man. Last episode,
Do you have a hitchhiker? Do you ever remember the hitchhiker stuff?
I just was using it a week ago in Maryland. No, I was doing like this. I was trying to signal the plane.
But how does your thumb go?
My thumb crazy.
You got the hitchhiker thumb. Like, oh, I could do that too. But look,
shit, boogaloo.
Some people don't. We got the hitchhiker thumb. Some people don't just straight. We got the hitchhike.
My shit look like I pressed shit too hard.
Hitchhike, baby. I got calluses on my joint. But anyway.
Oh boy, what the fuck? Hard working ass nigga.
Rough and stuff with my Afro puffs.
Oh! You got Afro puffs recent because you got fresh set it down. I see you, little nigga. See your parts and all that. I'm on your hills. I got a joint tomorrow. But no, what's going on with you? How you been?
Man, it's a lot. Like,
I always ask the deep questions, don't I?
You do. You
How
open
you
it up
been?
with you like, dang, I can't. You can't ask how the weather's like. How's the weather? You enjoying the weather? Nah, it's just a lot going on, just everywhere, just personally and just publicly. Like, I haven't really read too much into it, but the shooting at the protest for Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, I just saw about that.
So I don't really know the details, but it's like it's just so much violence everywhere. Between the white supremacist groups, planning their rallies and reenacting George Floyd right not too far from us in Jersey. Mm-hmm. It's just a lot going on. Not to mention just personally, like we still dealing with coronavirus, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot.
Crazy shit about Corona is we right back where we started with Corona.
Right.
Motherfuckers is the rates is higher than they ever been, and everybody is like, it's summer though, so fuck it. Right. I went to take Pull home the other day. I think it was Fly Day. Going at the Fly Day, I pull on his block, and both sides of the street is cars all down the middle of the street parked. So I pull down the way going my direction, and I guess my lights be drawn. They just moved out of my side and like went around the block. But I look in a little side street that running his street. It was like a whole fucking block party in the middle of the night. It was like the middle of the night, and it was packed out there. Ain't nobody give a fuck about no mask, yo. But it was like kind of like them scenes we've been seeing in New York. Yeah. But it was in North Philly, like right off of around 33rd. I don't want to give up his address, right. And it was just like, God
damn. Like a lot of little blocks in North Philly anyway, though. So
and
you
I'm
probably
just
can find it a lot of places.
But I'm like, who promoted this shit? Cause like, yo, I swear to God, I've seen like 6 strippers walking that way, like not just groups of chicks. Like
it was going down.
Yeah, it was looking like, oh, all right. So whoever got Onyx this week is right here. So that was crazy. But no, that's definitely what's been weird about this Rona shit. As far as like the climate and what's been going on with society, it's all fucked up because it started at the top. It starts at the top. Like, this motherfucker denounces everything that makes sense and empowers his people. He just posted a video of them motherfuckers with Trump signs screaming white power, and then deleted it and said that they said he never realized they didn't hear him saying white power on the video. So it's like when you do shit like that, constant dog whistles, and every time you say something, you can always say, I was joking, I didn't know, or I wasn't talking about that, I was talking about this. Like, it never fucking, you're never going to get any order below that.
Speaking of, it's not really like that, but it's kind of similar. I want to get your take on the noose in Bubba Wallace's garage.
Which part of my take do you want?
Because it's really interesting that within like days, the FBI allegedly concluded that it wasn't, put there in a racially threatening or terroristic way.
It wasn't intended for him, is what they said.
Right.
A noose is always racial.
My point. That's
because in order for it to be a rope that's used to pull down a garage, first of all, niggas don't even pull down garages with ropes no more.
Exactly.
It's usually some kind of chain system.
And if they do, it's usually automatic. It's not tied that way.
And you don't tie ropes that way. A noose is a very intricate design for a knot to just have a regular knot. That's
what I was about to say. Usually they would just have a knot. It wouldn't be a whole.
Why would you use something that slides anyway? When you're trying to pull something down, a noose slides. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So no, but then you say it's been there since November 2019. So who the fuck was they threatening, or what was they celebrating then?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is that not still a problem, and how is that not still a hate crime? Like, I don't understand it. I'm happy that NASCAR at least is trying to show a united front, because that's like with the country. Like, even if Dickhead didn't agree, if he pretended that he wanted to do the right thing, there'll be less people doing the wrong thing.
Right.
Like, that's part of this Corona shit. He has a whole Republican base that say this bullshit is weak.
Right.
So it's become, it's not a health crisis no more. It's political.
Right.
So, like, as far as the news thing, because I don't really want to get off of that yet, I feel like there's more that needs to be done. I feel like the FBI and
You
probably
think they concluded too quickly?
I feel like they should still be investigating.
Yeah.
Now, they might have gave us a quick synopsis of, well, we got proof that it wasn't directly for him, just because they needed to get that out there.
Right.
But if they're not still investigating, I'm concerned.
Right.
Because it came from somewhere.
Absolutely. So it's two things. The reason why I bring it up is because my sons, especially my youngest son, is really into NASCAR.
Yeah.
And so
That's when they have us. When we little, we don't know no better because we love cars and they go fast and it's
Right.
colorful and shit.
So my oldest son, he's into it too, but and it's so funny because he's the one that has more of the background. He went to the black private school. So we talked about this incident. We didn't talk specifically about the news, but we talked about who Bubba Wallace was, or is. And so my oldest son, when we put NASCAR, they got NASCAR on their PlayStation. He's like, I'm playing with Bubba Wallace now. Now my youngest son, he only want to play with whoever came won. So he like, I got Chase Elliott. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
so we are really trying to.
He's also trying to gain some kind of advantage over his other brother that's going to beat him regardless who he plays with.
He is, but we want to make the impression of understanding who is
For you?
who is for you, and not only that, who you can identify with. People who are going to have similar struggles as you. If this is something that you would aspire to do when you get older. So just being knowing
He
is
would
half
be the
battle.
person to pave the way.
Exactly.
Bubba would.
So
yeah.
exactly. So, but it's so interesting because CJ would be like, "Yeah, Bubba Wallace." The other one would be like, "Chase Elliott." Like, it's no deterring him, which I really like because he's strong minded. So that's something that's and it's really important to me too. But boy, you gonna know who you supposed to know.
No, and that's the thing. It's like, I mean, we identify with who we identify with. I watched a lot of TV shows, a lot of cartoons and shit growing up. My parents ain't buy no white dolls. They didn't buy no white stuffed
Neither
animals,
did
no
my dad, right.
pictures of white kids. Like, they didn't do that. But they also didn't turn the fucking TV off.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so it's a balance there, like with everything else we talk about with your kids, because they kids.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that they both in the NASCAR. That's dope. The strange thing about NASCAR is it's literally like one of the last things that they own. Like, it's all white. There's been probably 6 black NASCAR drivers ever.
I wish I knew that. I wish I knew the whole total.
And NASCAR started since Prohibition.
Right.
Because, you know, that's how it started.
Yeah,
they started
absolutely.
souping up the cars to
Right.
outrun, the bootleggers did to outrun the cops. So,
I'm taking them to. I think I'm gonna take
talking
them to
about
Daytona.
a long time ago. Yeah.
Well, they want to go to any of them. I want to go to Daytona. They tell me about tracks I don't even know about. They like, I want to go. They want to go to Poconos. I'm like, bet that's cheaper.
I seen the
So-
Daytona. Yeah, Poconos is cheaper. I saw the Daytona track, though. That shit is crazy. Just like
Yeah.
from the outside, that
Yeah.
thing is huge.
I know.
It's sexy.
I know.
Like, it looked like, yeah,
I want to take
it
them
goes
there.
down in there. Like, it just looks like the Terradome.
So
You know what I mean?
Introduce them to the Poconos next year, and then the following year, taking them to Daytona.
Well, I mean, shit, that could be y'all thing. As long as they interested, y'all can do
Yeah.
a joint every year or so.
Exactly.
A couple years. And
You know,
that'll
I
be
like
fly.
the warm weather anyway, so I'm not even really trying to go. Even though it's not, but so cold up there when they do it anyway. But
I don't even know the details, but I do know it should be fun because it's going to be loud as shit. It's going to be a bunch of
they
energy.
already got these special
Yeah.
ear things or
Motherfucking
whatever.
sound minimizing contraptions.
They
yeah.
got them.
No, that's what's
I
up.
just wanted to know your take on that.
I mean, like I say, man, that's still the good old boys club. And they going to get a lot of fight back, but I do respect the way that publicly they've been handling it on the
Sure.
surface.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I watched all of Bubba interviews, and I feel like he's content with what they've done. He just doesn't like, oh, well, it wasn't for you. It doesn't matter as far as a finding. But as long as they do what they're supposed to do, they're going to have a hard time. But everybody has had a hard time with race relations and decisions when it came time to trans. They fucking attacked children that was getting busted in the schools. Like, it's
You know
never
what's
nothing
crazy,
off
though?
limits.
I mean, this is really, I think, like I said, awareness is a part of moving in the right direction. So it took for a lot of the things that the recent current events that happened to make this change, start to progress. But when I started seeing that, like, Hank Azaria is no longer doing Apu for The Simpsons, and so many other people.
The other boy not going to do Cleveland show.
Exactly.
What's the name said they not letting white characters do black voices no more. Period though. The Simpsons, they just announced that.
Right. I mean, it's just interesting though. It's just interesting.
It is. I mean, somebody
but I was
said.
Gonna take it to. Go ahead. I'll let you go to there.
My bad. But somebody said right now we're in a symbolic stage. So there's a whole lot of symbolism.
Right.
Some more effective than others. But after we get past the symbolism, it's time to really get the brass tacks.
Even with the Aunt Jemimas and Uncle Ben's and things
you see,
like
Aunt Jemima family was mad about that shit.
Yeah.
And I kind of get it.
Right.
I kind of get it. But nobody knows that.
Exactly.
And they paraded her around like that, though. Like, she went on tour as the slave acting lady teaching people how to make pancakes and shit. Like, that's kind of degrading. But if they was proud of her, I'm not mad at that.
Right. I'm trying to think.
Is that a bigger symbol than her family, though? Like, is it bigger for the people than her family? Like, what do you think about that? If they taking it down because...
I think that's just greed because I think, for me, I think outside looking in, to me, it looks like it's just pure greed because it's on a bigger thing of the money that we profit off of this symbol of my grandmother or my aunt or whoever she was. This is for the culture, for real. When they be like, this is for the culture, like that is literally for the culture.
But I also wonder what their compensation has been and how long did that last and all of that. Like, because, contracts is a motherfucker, especially when it comes to like modeling.
Absolutely.
Putting your picture on something, print work, like you could take pictures for one thing and
but
if you don't sign the right shit, it should be on a Gap commercial. Yeah,
exactly.
So I wonder what they was even getting from it. It's interesting though because like I said, if that was somebody that in our family was a staple and we looked up to, that would be kind of strange in my family.
Right.
But at the same time, it would be like I understand, but the people are like, it's more families out here.
I'm trying to see. I don't really. So you've been into the news too. I'm trying to think. There was like the great grandfather of somebody. I don't know if it was like the Confederate leader or somebody, but he first of all empathized with Black Americans, and I don't know if the statue was coming down or what it was, but he empathized with it, which is the exact opposite of what you're saying that the family Aunt Jemima was doing. He like, look, I don't even want to be a part of that. I definitely agree with how y'all feel. Tear it down. I'm not saying that's what he said verbatim.
You mean the grandson?
It was like the grandson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what did I say?
Grandfather.
Oh, okay, yeah. Grandson. But yeah, so anyway, it's just interesting to see the flip sides of people's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's a lot of questions that white people need to ask themselves. Like, I was thinking about something the other day. When I was young, my dad explained to me the theory of new money versus old money, and how people with old money look at people with new money, and how people with new money supposedly carry themselves as opposed to people with old money. Now, when I thought deeper about that, old money versus new money, my dad's telling me this in the 80s, early 90s. Old money is slave money. So you weren't respected if you didn't own slaves. Mm-hmm. If your family didn't acquire wealth at the time and in a manner that those families did. Right. Because you're only talking about a couple generations. Right. So what is new money versus old money when there's only a few generations since freedom? Right. Or quote unquote freedom. Right. You see what I'm saying? So like, I thought about that because my dad's the type, we'll be in a restaurant and he never wanted like, you know how like when you young, you easily impressed. You see the car, you see the girls or whatever and you like, oh, he got money. But that motherfucker might be blowing his whole bag on that car note. So he was like, who you thinking here, is wealthy? So we looking around and we picking out people for teenage childish reasons, whatever have you. Because it was me and my sister. And, she 4 years, so she was probably a teenager. And he pointed to this old white lady sit at this table by herself. And she unassuming as fuck. Right. This nigga started talking about how long she had that jewelry and how much that jewelry worth and shit like that. Exactly. And I'm just like, yo, that's a whole nother level. Right. right. So kind of segue to that real quick. It's interesting you said that because I don't know if I had this conversation with you. Did I tell you? I think offline I might have had a conversation with my dad and his appreciation for explicit songs. Mm-hmm. So it's interesting you said that just because I feel like a lot of I like the fact or love the fact that your dad was mentioning that to you at a young age. But it's important for people to understand generational wealth and things that acquire value. And the story of OJ is one song that specifically speaks to people in our generation or younger, but today's times in a different way than
maybe a banker would, or even my dad would. So I had to play it line for line and pause it to point everything out, even with its explicitity, even with being explicit. Because before, a lot of people in his generation can't appreciate anything just because it has
curses.
Explicit language.
They
can't get past it. So you got to think about the whole hook of that joint. Dark nigga, light nigga, rich nigga, folk nigga. He like
why would you keep saying nigga?
Exactly. So once he got past that, for me, it was kind of like.
But it was him. It was Jay owning it and talking about how they're perceived.
Exactly, and my dad got that. So for me, it was kind of like success for me, like because I was able to actually get him to understand, let his guard down for one, and understand the message that was being presented to the people that need to hear it in their own language and their own way that they need to receive it.
Absolutely.
So I appreciated that. So that was just dope. Like, that I was able to kind of cross.
I went through something similar with Linda recently. We was she watched the episode, like I said, and she was like, "You speak very well. It's a good episode. I just wish you wouldn't curse so much." And I was like, intense times cause for intense language for one, because we was talking about what's going on, and I told her, stop letting words turn you off and get into the message. Like, because since I've been a kid, it's always been, oh my God, it's a curse, and her ears go off. Like she's 5, like she's not allowed to hear it, and it's like oh my God, right? So I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. But she got it, and she went through with it, and she sat through the episode. But it's just so funny because it's really their generation, like you said, and you also pointed out something I wanted to talk about too. I've been watching Jon Stewart talk a lot in interviews and shit. And he keeps pointing out that we're talking about equality, and the part that is getting driven away from the equality is the equity part.
Absolutely. Like,
and you just mentioned a couple things that kind of lent itself to this topic about generational wealth and stuff like that. It's like motherfuckers have no idea, and I know everybody wants to say, well, my granddaddy was the greatest, my dad was the best, he acquired all of this shit, but nobody understands that the country got split up to everybody but us for over 100 years after slavery, or whatever time has existed since slavery. Redlining, zone shifting, all type of shit that they've been doing to make sure rates and shit, interest rates, making sure that we can't own shit. So the equity part is a huge part. And he said, the trickle down effect is the biggest problem this country really has. If you pay the people at the top, it'll go down to the bottom because they just fire everybody at the bottom and inflate what they make on top. So we've seen that forever. And then when that gets fucked up, they get bailed out, and then they get to buy back into their own stocks. So, like, it's reciprocal. Like, you can't – that's equity like a motherfucker.
Right. So it's interesting you say that because I think it's really important with word usage. And a lot of times when I talk, I'm always advocating for equality. But through my conversation and when I'm speaking, I always talk about being the equity of it all. And I choose that word often. And a lot of people I don't even know or think sometimes when I'm speaking to them know the real meaning of equity. I think some people just think of it as simply like the financial term of equity. But they don't really understand that it means equal as well.
It means, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I choose that word intentionally so people can, if they're paying attention and really thinking about the word usage, know what that word means. You know what I mean? In a different way. So
yeah, I think that's important, and I think that it's something that is strategically not being said. Like, motherfuckers will give you a bunch of shit, but equity. They'll never give you opportunity to be where they at unless it's your family. It's like, it's the same way in a lot of situations where you be like, you hear something that's too good to be true, you be like, fuck you got that from your cousin? Right. Like, because ain't nobody doing that for you. And that's how the world works. Right. You see what I'm saying? So, I don't know. It's just the equity thing needs to be talked up more and to the extent of what that means. Now, like we said before, there's a lot of people that have delved into these. They made suggestions of what's what and all of that. But I feel like it has to be at the forefront of the conversation more because that's the quickest way to get the changes we want to see. We can get certain shit done now on the surface level. Like I said, there's a lot of symbolism. A lot of it will help and probably save a lot of people's lives, hopefully, if it's handled right. But we really need motherfuckers to be able to have feet to put boots on to be able to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. Like, it's like, it's so you ain't even got feet, nor a sock, nor a boot, nor a shoelace. So, like, just give everybody a motherfucking outfit and let us figure out what the fuck we want to do with our outfit.
But have a fair chance.
Yeah, I go where I want with my shit.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, I think it's important, and I think I just wanted to mention it because, like I say, I don't even see people typing it. Also want to say, lock up the motherfuckers that killed Breonna Taylor.
Please.
Lock up the motherfuckers that killed Breonna Taylor.
Those murderers.
Lock up the motherfuckers that killed and murdered Breonna Taylor. And the reason I said that, one, because we got to keep saying it because it ain't happened yet. But two, I actually saw.
It's appalling. Like, it's even more than appalling.
No, the crazy thing is they took the cops off the street to protect the cops.
Yeah.
So you see what it is over there. It's a whole lot of white hoods and shit over there, man. Robes. But I saw a post that said, and I don't know if it's true, because I'm not on Twitter, but they said Breonna Taylor's name was no longer trending today, and it weirded me out. Not because I felt like people stopped saying it. I know nobody stopped saying it.
That can't be true.
So that means that Twitter had to block it from
they
trending.
Had to. They just had, like I said, a whole event at a rally or protest in her name. So there's no way that her name is not trending.
Everybody's post says new NBA schedule. Lock up the motherfuckers that killed Breonna Taylor. Like, everybody's still talking about it on my newsfeed and my timeline. Too. So I didn't understand how it wasn't trending anymore. So if that's true, Twitter, y'all gotta get y'all shit together, man. Cause Twitter, Snapchat fucking up. You heard about they filter for Juneteenth?
No.
Snapchat.
I don't have Snapchat.
I never had it. Never was interested in it.
Me either.
Snapchat put out a Juneteenth
Last
filter.
ain't gonna be forever.
They put out a Juneteenth filter with the wrists and chains, I think it was.
Right.
And in order to break the chains, you need to smile. And if you smile, the chains will break.
What?
All you gotta do is smile for freedom. You smile, it's all over.
That's crazy. My mind is in a lot of places with that.
Yo, I want to hear some of them, because when I heard that shit.
Yo, I felt.
I heard it you know what I mean, like a week ago, but go ahead.
I mean, I feel like, first of all, ain't shit funny about being in fucking chains, first of all.
What? That's intentional. I feel like that's blatant. There's no way that you thought that was supportive of the holiday. And we've seen how Google handles it. They'll change the Google image and shit, subtle shit, and it'll be fine. The colors will change or something.
Or more companies that were more blatant and just had actual statement. That
but
said,
you want to make a fucking filter that has something that already we've seen enough of.
Who the hell want that filter anyway?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what makes you want to reuse that image, that imagery? What makes that sexy? Because, you know, that's what all this shit is. Like, filters and not sexy. I mean,
I know what you mean.
I mean, like, how.
What makes it appealing?
Yeah, when you cook, they say make it sexy. Make it sound sexy.
What you're saying.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. Like, it has to be something that's like a majority of people be like, damn, I want that. But on that tip, it's like, I could only see white people and blind black people doing that shit.
Who runs Snapchat?
I'm not aware right now.
I mean, that's the question, though, clearly.
But they said that they have a history of doing this shit. Like, Snapchat has dropped the ball every time something like this happened, from what I'm hearing. And like you say, we don't have it, so it ain't like I could be like, I remember on such and such when they did it, but they was giving examples. They said this ain't the first time. So just be careful who y'all giving all y'all information to, because we already giving it to enough motherfuckers. But somebody that's telling you they not with you is probably the last person you want to know all your business, and that includes social media.
I'm very private. You know that. I'm very private.
Because just like we was talking off air.
Even my social media, I give them like, it's not my birthday. Trust me.
Just like we was talking off air.
Facebook got me the first time. Because
I was watching the highlight video on Ant Page from the Father Your Sons joint. And I was talking about license plates being on social media. Scared to death. I thought about last week I was at the Platte. I seen my young boy. I spoke. He didn't really notice it was me. So time went by. I posted a picture from the bike ride, and my car is in the background. It's in the picture, actually. It's not even in the background. It's part of the picture. And
he put two and two together that was you.
He was like, "Dang, that was you." And I was like, that almost made me take the picture down.
Right.
Because, like, at first, I'm just sitting on somebody's car. Now, you just put it together for people that's my will, and I ain't really want the whole internet to know what I was in yet. Like, trying to avoid that part for a while.
I know.
Only good thing about it is it look like all the rest of them, so it ain't like, oh, that's him, definitely. But yeah, it's weird. Like, I'm weirded out about it. I share enough. I share a lot with the people.
You do, but it's not really private though. You don't share your personal though.
No, I don't. Well, see, And that's part of why you see so many people doing things that it's like you just want attention or you bored. Because I do so much shit that I have so much shit to post that it's like I don't even have time to make up shit to post.
Let me tell you, I was just showing a picture today. I just noticed there's a wave and stuff. Like, I can't be. You said it before. I think about like with the kids going to school who don't want to take the pictures and all that. But I just see it's a wave of people just doing certain things and saying certain things, and I'm just like I just don't fit the mold. Like I've always been do not follow where the path may lead. Instead, make your own path and leave a trail type person. Like,
but I
can't get with it. I can't get jiggy with that shit.
But it's the reason that most people most people don't even know that they do it or they don't want to admit it.
I don't think they even know. A lot of these people are.
It's across the board. It's like you buy your sneaks because you like your sneaks. There's a lot of people out here that got all the Air Maxes or all the Jordans because they know that if they wear them, they're safe. Nobody could grind up Jordans or Air Maxes or foams. Like, they know they cost money. They know that they fly, whatever. So they just swear by it because that's their comfort zone as far as what people will think. Now, there's nothing wrong with if that shit twists because, you know me, I'm Puma fucking crazy with a handful of Adidas. But at the same time.
You have any Nikes?
No. I haven't had Nikes in probably 15 plus years.
Okay.
I gave away my Jordans, my Chucks, my Timbs, everything when I went Puma crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, it was crazy. And Adidas was still in there because I still like Adidas.
Okay.
Still like Adidas. Nike, I just got over it. Like, I'll explain because I don't want to sound like I'm talking crazy. When I was in high school, I bought every fucking pair of sneakers that cost more than $120. No matter what they was. If they was thorough and they was more than $120, I got them because I was getting discounts from everywhere. So I'm 30% here, 50% here. So I was paying regular prices for the hot shit. $160, I need that. You know what I mean? But then when I got older, they started bringing all the retros out. So then I never had Jordans when I was until I was old enough to buy everything over $120. So all the Jordans I couldn't get before, I bought all of those.
Right.
Foam posits came out, I bought all the foam posits, all the flight posits. Zoom Air, Tuned Air, every Air they made, I bought them bitches. I had stacks and stacks of just Nikes and Timberlands. That's all I had for a long time. Jordan boxes, Nike boxes, Timberlands. And it got to the point where after a while, they just kept putting the same sneaks out.
They do.
And it's like I couldn't keep buying them. And when I bought them before, I was buying 2 and 3 pair because I liked them. Thinking that they was never coming out again or it would be. And they bring them out the next year or year. And I'm like, yo, this is like, they cost $50 more than they did. They're not made out of the same material as the ones that I love for a lot of them. And I never been a fan of like, I need some LeBrons. Who I'm dunking on? I ain't going nowhere.
Right.
So like, I just fell out of Nike that way because it was like, I'm not buying the same sneaks again.
It's so interesting you said it about like the quality of product. Cause I just started watching Billions. You watch Billions?
Mm-hmm. I like Billions.
I was thinking about the one with those puffs, those little paste snack that he was investing in.
Mm-hmm.
And how he told the owner how he used to get it all the time when he was on his paper route. And then when he got it, however, 30, 40 years later, it's not the same because they used the cheaper ingredient. They were only worried about the dollar. So it was just interesting that's what that made me think about.
I definitely saw that episode too.
And so for quality, like you can't really you can't catch yourself short or sell yourself short for quality.
No, and it's funny that we was talking about bakeries earlier and like some staple bakeries in the city. And in this city, every neighborhood has a bakery that's legendary. But if you still around now from when bakeries was the shit, you did your thing. Because quality, and you talking about probably went through a different pastry chef or how many different ones, and you still got to maintain that level in a city where it's not hard to find a good pastry. You see what I'm saying? Like, we in Philly. Everything is close by.
Absolutely.
If you don't want that shit, you'll travel 15 minutes to another part to go get that shit.
Right.
But because we rode past Sylvia's earlier, and I was thinking about that shit.
Okay.
But it was just like, I remember when Moms was Truman on the Ave.
I miss Moms.
Oh, my God. I'm pissed they had to go away.
I miss Moms. Yeah.
But that early morning line, when she used to open that door, that line used to be there for that fresh year. It used to look like the dope line was sitting there.
It did. Especially Thanksgiving. That's where we used to get our rolls from for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving,
the
boy.
pre-order in like a week ahead.
Yep. You got to fight for that shit. And they stopped taking orders after a while.
Yep. That's why we used to put our order in a week ahead at least.
Yep.
My grandma knew when to do it.
It's crazy because, like, every city got their thing. You know what I mean? Like, there's pizza cities. We a cheesesteak city. And I'm sure there's a lot of cities that have good bakeries and famous bakeries. But there was literally a time in Philadelphia where we had 1 or 2 dope bakeries in every neighborhood, and one of them was black owned. they was most of them was black owned that we was fucking with.
Yeah.
When you really think about it.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And the ones that wasn't was black ran.
Right.
Cause I
Nieces.
I actually I actually thought about that. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
just
right. I think we're at a time right now that we actually can reinvent that. Like I feel like
the mom and pop shops is time to come back.
exactly.
You know how much shit ain't about to open back up?
I feel like it's our time to reinvent that. And
Ooh, can we buy one of the movie theaters and make some cool
I
shit
would
out
love
of
it.
it?
They finally got Uptown together. Capitol is a hair store. Which one? Let's think about some movie theaters. I'm with that. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like it's a lot of school buildings that's empty, and a lot of movie theaters that's about to be empty. And I feel like between the two of them, there could be a play for the community for
everybody miss drive-ins.
disadvantaged people.
Everybody miss drive-ins. That's safe.
They've been doing drive-in concerts. That's kind of dope. Snoop just did one like yesterday. I can show you the
See?
footage. But
I didn't even know I was on the wave. Look at that.
no, it's a thing now.
I didn't even know. You know, listen, I didn't even know.
A couple people I just had a message, but a couple people had like tried it out and it became a thing.
Okay.
Because man, listen, motherfuckers is trying to get to this money. You missing a lot of chick, and that's the thing. No matter how much money you got, if you know I was supposed to make $1 million this month, $1 million that month, this, that, and the third, you still feel like you losing money.
Yeah.
You still feel like you losing money.
Agreed.
And if you don't have to, you shouldn't. I don't care how much money you got. If you don't have to, don't. Fuck it.
I agree. I think this is definitely the time to be real creative and think outside of the box. And actually, like I said, that's bringing back something from the old school that would definitely work right now in regards to being safe, our safety measures, and still providing entertainment and still generating some revenue. Dogs driving. Look at that. Why not?
Yeah, heavy. Look, all the headphones and shit.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's the thing. Now we got headsets that
That's what I'm saying.
instead of like when you had to put that box on your car and all that shit.
I wonder if you could have a big ass Bluetooth receptor or something that people could just use their phones and sit in their
Or
own
use
wheel.
their own Bluetooth radio.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You know what? There should either be a what's the name or a station. It should be a
Yeah.
station or
Something they could just tune
Bluetooth link, yeah. That you just turn to that. I think that's how it used to be at one point too, where there was a station in some joints.
I don't remember because I remember they used to give us speakers. I feel like
though for the long time the Rocky Horror Pictures was the only thing that like I know was still showing at drive-ins on a regular. I think that was in Delaware.
it's the joint in Violin.
I'm gonna hit a motherfucking joint. They ain't gonna draw about me smoking, right?
I don't believe so.
Oh, all right. If they ain't tripping about smoking,
I don't believe so.
That's the best of both worlds.
Let's go. Let me know.
Because the reason I like watching
When we
movies
out?
at home is because I can't sit still for 2 hours and not smoke.
Oh yeah,
I might as well take a nap.
I feel it. So, let me know when we going to the drive-in.
We could make it a move.
Let me know when we make our own look. Let's see some property. I know we got some.
You know what we
lots.
gonna do?
Listen.
We gonna put that fucking Cherokee on the road. Put some miles on that bitch.
Listen. I'm riding.
we gonna fall back. Yeah.
I'm riding. You hear me?
We gonna cognac and let that Cherokee do all the work.
Let's go. Let's go.
No, but I know I said this before that I didn't think movies was, but now they really saying. And then did you see AMC said the dumb shit? They said they wasn't going social distance and you wasn't going to have to wear a mask. And in
the next
2 hours,
day, or
it was
yeah,
like
hours. Then you said, we retract that
we was
statement.
tripping. My bad. I was bugging. Yo, did you have time to watch 846 yet?
Yeah.
What you think about it?
Um,
I'm talking about the Dave Chappelle, not stand up, but presentation.
It's interesting
he
because
gave.
what I was about to say what was so interesting is that he was able to add a very little bit of comedy to some real shit.
Mm-hmm.
It was very enlightening. I don't think that the people expected to get that. I don't know if they did or didn't.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear Dave Chappelle, I'm going to see Dave Chappelle. I'm not expecting for him to be as real and raw as he was, but he was very honest, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I liked it. A lot of the comedians gave him backlash for the Candace Owens joke, not because it was a joke on her, but because they thought it was cheap. Like he could have said so much more, or
It was what it was because I feel like people need to understand that there's people that look like you that's not necessarily for you.
And I feel like he got his point across with that, but I feel like there's always, and we're in this time also where it's like a stank pussy joke though.
Oh right.
Like, you know what I
get
mean?
you.
Like, it's also that time too.
I get you. That's
So-
Dave too, though, man. He done said everybody pussy stink. Like, what the hell?
Hey, listen, I don't. Yeah, all right.
He said, and they stink. Like,
Did say that.
I'm just saying. Like,
Yo, they had the marathon on yesterday. I was turning away, kept
why
turning
you
back.
ain't call me?
Kept turning back. Yo, it was on VH1. I think they just.
I was just watching it. Yo, I got so many screenshots in my phone because shout out to Shay. It's wrap it up when they be in the bed and she like wrap it up. Yo, they be in court. Wrap it up, B.
Wrap it up, B.
Yo, I got so many screenshots in my phone.
That wrap it up music is real though, and it's funny because you
Ever
always
since then,
heard
I've
it.
listened- Ever since then, I've listened for the wrap it up music. Ever since then.
And some places have gotten more creative, but it was a time where all the award shows did it.
Yes.
They all did it, and it used to be blatant. And what used to be funny about it is you could tell who they gave more time to.
Sure, absolutely.
It ain't like, yo, everybody has 30 seconds.
No.
It's like,
Some people
you
got
have
5
30
minutes.
seconds. They got 5 minutes.
Yeah, and you better just say thank you, go. You only got 30. You got 15.
Yo. And then the funny thing used to be, everybody used to start with, I want to thank God. First and foremost, I want to thank God. Which probably should be the first person that you thank is your creator, spiritually. But it got kind of like scripted at a point. Like, y'all all don't want to thank him first.
Right.
Some of y'all want to thank the motherfucker that was in a limo ride on the way over here that got you feeling good on that stage right now.
Yo, you is the best.
You know, we done see motherfuckers hopping out of limos looking like fresh sex. or oral situations.
Yeah.
Shit, I remember Kanye Kim stumbling out with the Henny bottle. Whoa. Classic. You forgot about that.
I did.
Classic.
Yeah. But Kanye and Kim are just all over the place right now. They're just all over the place. Between him saying, you know who I'm voting for, her and Nicki Minaj and Dum red lace front wearing dude. Like,
she about to have him on Queen Radio this week. Tripping. But
it's so bad that I wanted to hear some of her old songs, but I ain't even want to, just on my way down here, I ain't want to stream. Like, I ain't even want to give her no streams because I just can't rock with her.
Start
right
feeling
now.
like that about people sometime, man. I ain't gonna lie, like, this, between the pandemic and the social movement that's been going on right now, there's a lot of people I don't want to do business with. I don't feel like I got energy to discuss shit with. And it's sad, and I know eventually I'll probably come around with some of them. But it's just, I'm disappointed in a lot of people right now.
Yo. Pause.
Hmm?
Problems you need to iron out. I will holler. For now, you want
For
time
now,
out.
you want time out. Like, I just don't understand. And once again, it makes me appreciate how we came up as far as our educational system and our household that we was brought up in. Because I realized that, and it took me a while, a lot of these motherfuckers have no idea what they're up against. They have no idea what's been getting done to them. They think that we're just making their life uncomfortable because they either didn't know or they was comfortable with how it was.
Two things. It's real interesting to me when I hear people say they've never experienced racism. I don't know if they're just ambiguous to it. They just don't know what racism is at times. Or, like, even for me, I'll see that, like, you know, my sister is dark, like, yes, complexion. And when we go to a store, I get treated completely different than she do. And that's racism.
And y'all walked in together.
Yes, and that's racism. People don't even think we really sisters. Like, they think that I just adopted her. Like, so I don't understand people who, I mean, God bless them if they really never experienced racism. But I feel like a lot of people are unaware of what racism is.
But it's like that conversation that we had before where it was like, the newscaster's daughter had told her that something had happened, and then when she got to college, she realized that other things had happened that she didn't attribute to racism. Now, her story is a little different because she didn't identify as black at first, but at the same time, ignorance is fucking bliss.
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is bliss, but ignorance is also dangerous as fuck.
Absolutely.
Like, so it's a double-edged sword when you talk about ignorance. And I always say ignorance is bliss.
Right?
Because part of the reason I don't sleep at night is because I know too fucking much.
Exactly. But look, right, it's so interesting you said that because now, yesterday I was talking to a girlfriend of mine who I say is my sister, but is not my blood sister. But we literally look alike. Our names are synonymous. you would think that we were really sisters, right? But anyway, so she said a lot of her family passed, right? When people were passing, they passed. Her grandma passed 5 years ago. Before her grandma passed, her brother was on his deathbed. She made it her business to fly over to California to tell all his kids that they was black. And he couldn't talk. She said he was on a chair. She was like, you know you're black. And she was showing all the family. And he can't talk. Never wanted them to know
That's gangster.
that they was black. Now the
She's
kicker.
a gangster. I don't know what time he was on. God bless him, but that's crazy.
Now the kicker, when the cousin come to the grandma funeral, she said he's telling everybody, you know, I found out I'm black. She was like, listen, I think you might want to keep that to yourself because you know you're going to cut your paycheck like by a couple $1,000s of their salary. He's like, so he was like, I'm excited. He's like, but I think you're right, though.
But that's the thing, too. Like, that's part of it. That's part of what our parents, grandparents had to do. They had to play a part or play a role, even if they didn't have a complexion, just so that they wouldn't affect their pay, just so they wouldn't get fired. And then they passed that on to us, and they gave us insecurities about appearance and shit like that because they wanted us to blend in and they wanted us to always look quote unquote neat or whatever have you because of the perception thing and the fact that we against the 8 ball and we got to always show our best self. You know what I mean? If they get to wear jeans, then we got to wear a suit.
Right.
Because like coming in with
We just have to
khakis
be.
ain't enough.
It's interesting you say that too, because I think that's why. And I mean, I definitely know it comes to each individual upbringing, but just generally speaking, I think that black people as a whole had more or expressed more manners and certain things like thank you, please, and thank you, because I feel like we always had to be as a culture back then specifically. Had to be one up. We had to be polite. We was in hospitality.
You ever been in a black supermarket and a white supermarket?
Yeah.
White people stop in the middle of their aisle with their cart, don't look around them, don't hear you walking up, and you gotta say excuse me 5 times.
Exactly.
You in a black supermarket, motherfuckers is looking. You know why? Because we have to. You always had to be like paranoid and make sure like other people were comfortable around you.
Or they also say excuse
and should have happened.
And they also say excuse me though. Even
Yep.
the ghettoest motherfucker will say excuse me.
Yep. Yo, excuse me.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just interesting, I think, but I think it also goes all the way back to slavery, having to be hospitable. You know what I'm saying? Having to show a certain amount of respect for people.
Get your ass whooped and gotta breastfeed and cook for their kids.
Exactly.
You get your ass whooped and gotta breastfeed and cook for their kids. My bad.
So it's just interesting. I just see how generationally how things are and how even through different I guess races, things are different.
I saw somebody point out,
and not as a whole, but just generally speaking. I mean, not specifically people, but as generally speaking.
I'll tell you about these disclaimers. No, you do what you want though. But
no, because I think that's important to say. You know why? Because I'm not to cut you off, but it's important to say because I was talking to my husband, and he used to usually say like, you know, yeah, because white people this and white people that, and I'm like, yo, you can't just generalize everybody by their color. Not every single person. Literally, like my grandmom was white and was born in Europe. Like the whitest of the white. Like if I hated all white people, I hate myself and I hate my grandmom. So I cannot have you talking like that and kind of and expressing that.
I feel like little baby. I'm about the brain and the heart. I ain't really in the faces. Like I don't give a fuck about all that shit.
You know what I'm saying?
You see what I'm saying?
So it's just really important that people understand that you just can't generalize people at all. You can't generalize men. All men cheat. You can't generalize women. You can't generalize black people.
But see, the thing is, when you generalize people, a lot of times when people generalize people on things that's like a large overcast, like you heard it so much, it's usually to deflect away from them.
Right.
If all men ain't shit, then why you got 4 baby daddies?
Right.
So now we gotta talk about your judgment, but we can't talk about the fact that you just happen to pick all the wrong motherfuckers to nut in you.
And I also feel like, but it also comes from people who don't even have any baby fathers. I feel like it's just.
But you can't keep a man.
It's a learned perception though. Also.
But that's the thing because.
And it shouldn't be the conversation generally.
Well, that goes to like, and I know I'm gonna get backlash for this, but I always keep saying like women have to. They keep saying we have to hold men accountable. They have to hold women accountable.
Sure, absolutely, everybody needs to have some accountability.
When a woman breaks up with a dude. And she says whatever excuse, because trust me, a lot of times women don't tell their friends the real reason a nigga left. the friend's first thing is, well, you know these niggas ain't shit, and this, that, and the third, and girl, that's his loss, and another man's trash is another man's treasure, and all of these lines. Nobody ever digs into what she did.
Right.
And I know it's a lot of guys that do that too, but I do that with my niggas. Like, I literally be like, but bro,
but that's
you was
you
wildin'.
accountable, because I do too.
You was tripping. Like, you ain't think she was gonna get sick of your shit? Like, I say that shit. A girl would be with her homegirl every night that she's doing dirt and act like she deserves the best man in the world.
Right.
And it's just like,
no,
we gotta stop.
Yeah,
yo.
I agree, but I agree. I wouldn't support that. I don't.
But it's crazy because it's like a lot of the times, and I know
I check my girlfriend.
I know where the mentality comes from, and that's the thing too. Like, I understand it's kind of like black women are the lowest on the totem pole in this country, so they feel the need and they're trying to fill the void to support each other no matter what, and that's cool. But it's also dangerous when you get to the no matter what part.
Yeah, no, I think everybody needs to be accountable.
I feel like black people did it for a long time, and now we getting to the point where we looking at each other like, yeah, but that ain't cool.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like women are
my
still
folks.
in a transitional and like you said, you can't. I'm not categorizing because I don't want to do it for my own. But I'm just saying, like, it's like a thing to just be like, but I've been through that, and you went through what I went through, when that's not necessarily true.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And it'll go back to the Aisha Curry situation, and I heard everybody explaining for her opposite of what she said, and they was just saying because I've been through it, and that's cool.
No,
she ain't go through that.
But that's the whole thing. So I'm gonna take it even. So I used to like run a big text agency or whatever you want to call it.
Talk your shit, son.
And so it's just interesting when somebody will work at the same job and make the same amount of money, and they sit in this same chair and be like, well, I got back this and she got back that. And they expect to have the same thing. Your life is not her life. She might got 3 kids. You might live in a city and she live in a county.
That's a great point.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just so many things. So although you think everything is the same, shorty, it's definitely not the same. And
everybody don't. It's like everybody's crazy. So when you pick a mate, you find you're kind of crazy. The balance to your crazy is whatever they crazy is. Hopefully, right? So everybody's not bringing the same thing and don't get the same outcome. Everybody don't operate the same way.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people that like to talk about their private business don't really tell you the truth.
No.
There's a lot of flogging, frauding, a lot of just trying to keep up with the Joneses and be safe, and you don't even know what's going on that side. You don't know how they presented this situation from the beginning of the relationship, which starts a trend of how the relationship is going to go. And a lot of times as a man, I could say one thing that women do that is dangerous is they put everything on the table when they get to a certain age early on.
Yeah.
They get into
they be tired. Look.
Well, I'm 30-something. I got 2 kids. I ain't got time to play around. Next person I'm in a relationship with, I'm marrying. We having a family. And it's like.
And just drop it on the table. Boom. Take it.
And I need this, and this is another part of it. Right? And once you do that, all you do is give a motherfucker the combination to get the pussy.
Right.
Because now you just told them exactly what to fucking do to get.
We was just talking
to
about
make you comfortable. So that's first of all.
But
second of all, you put yourself at a disadvantage. And you know why? Because I was trying to get to know you and enjoy you and grow with you. Now, everything that you do, I'm thinking, can I do that for the rest of my life?
Right.
Can I deal with that for the rest of my life? Where you might have changed over time. You might have adjusted to my what I like. Now you're under more scrutiny because you bought up forever.
Exactly.
So now forever is in my fucking head.
Right.
It's like, and mind you, forever might have been in my head, but not in that way. It was in the way that, like, you know what, we gonna figure this thing out and hopefully it'll be decent. But if it don't work, then it wasn't meant to be. But once you put that forever thing on the table in the beginning of this pup, now everything you do, every little thing I got, it's like, can I deal with that forever? And attitude is a lot of it.
So let me tell. So hold up, because it's real interesting you said that, because I don't believe I have ever put the forever on the table. But it's real interesting because on the flip side,
you've been with your husband for a long time.
Not talking about him though. I ain't even talking about even with him.
But I'm just talking about it's an age group that does it. You wasn't in that age group.
Because I was about
you
to
was
say,
already
but
dating
no,
and
what I was
married.
about to say is, I be swearing I'm like one of y'all. Because even with my husband, I was surprised that he proposed. We never had that conversation. But even prior to him, mostly every person I was with was like talking that forever, ever. Like, I didn't even put it on the table. So you can't even say females. I think that's just a general statement.
This is the other side of it.
Of everybody. Like, just don't put too much out there. Like,
what's a nigga favorite line? Tell her what she want to hear.
No.
So if every woman you sit down with is throwing that on the table, you just start with it.
Listen.
So now, and that's why like
I done got a couple rings.
That's
so.
why the venting process and all of that shit is a real. No, there's some people, and that's another thing too. Hold up, because let's not act like anybody's a monolith. There's also guys that want to marry you. Some of them are genuine. Some of them need a woman.
Right.
Like need. Some
Right.
of them have glitches and shit. Also, like, and this is separate from the ones that need women. Some of them have glitches and little things about them that it's a reason that he's just willing to jump in with somebody that he don't even know like that. Like, you got to think about what it takes. Like, it's not too many people that fall head over heels in love at first sight and get it right. So as a man in this time, in this era, knowing all the schemers, knowing all the crazy shit that goes on in these streets, knowing how your pride operates, what makes you jump right in it? You got to kind of think about that too as a woman when somebody's, because like I said, he might even been, he might not know that he got a glitch.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But he want what he want. He might be on the timetable too. I'm at that age. Like, I got a homie that said, yo, I'm having my kid by 30 so that I could play ball with him and shit like that. And he did. And he's not with his baby mom no more, but he had his kid. Right. And his intention, they was good. He tried, it didn't work out. Yeah. So then what happens is, it's like, all right, so let's go back to where we started from. You give me your list. Well, what do you want? I want a lot of the same shit. Right. I want a woman to mother my kids, and I want to have a good life. I want somebody I could build a business with. I want all the same shit you want.
Right.
But then when we don't work out, niggas always lying and playing games. No, I just decided it wasn't with you.
Well,
I thought it was. It ain't work out.
He wasn't lying and playing games that you don't fit.
Exactly. No, but the thing is, it's always they was playing games. It's never, you know what? It just didn't work. I wasn't the person that worked with that person. I'm not even going to blame one side of it.
Of all the relationships I ever had, only one person, I broke up with them just because it didn't work. Everybody else was lying and playing games.
Well, you was young though. And that's the thing too. Like, people got to stop acting like you special. You have to learn before you commit. Right. So you have to go through shit. Everybody gets done dirty damn near at some point. And most motherfuckers is still doing dirt. Either right around, right before, or right after they got done dirty. It ain't like you ain't never did nobody filthy. No, you see what I'm saying? I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about anybody that's grown. Right. It's like somebody loved you probably more than you loved them at one point. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? It's like somebody might have been faithful to you that you got a couple over on. And when it happens to you, you become super victim and everybody's fucked up. When at the end of the day, that person either fucked up and they might still be for you. I don't know, because that shit happens too all the time. But if it's a sign, then it's better off that you found out that it ain't for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everything ain't for everybody, right? Like,
how long would you want to be in that situation before you figured it out though?
I also think it takes 6 months to a year to actually know who somebody is anyway. Like,
everybody's good at presenting a representative for at least 3 months.
Yeah, I think it's like 6 months to a year. I really think a year, to be honest. Longer, like closer to the year than the 6 months.
I mean, that's one thing. And then there's the level of you got to live with somebody even know how they is.
Yeah.
Like, that presents a whole nother person to you once y'all stay together.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, it's a lot. But I feel like when you get to a certain age, it gets to the like I seen a lady say recently on a radio show I was watching, I think it was Hot 97, and she said, I'm raising my daughters that a year and a half is long enough for courting. If y'all ain't getting married within 2 years, move on. That's dangerous as fuck.
Yeah, that is.
You just said you don't even know somebody till a year.
Yeah.
Imagine, and this is another thing that goes on, ultimatums and shit. Imagine propositioning somebody with the, well, make a move or I'm out.
I've never felt comfortable doing that.
Before 2 years.
I never felt comfortable ever doing that.
Or just bouncing because it's been the deuce. Like I don't understand how that mentality works. First of all, like we said, there are people that fell over head over heels early, lasted, did good. There's people that did 2 years, worked out great. There's people that waited 8-10 years, didn't work out. Did work out, whatever have you. You can't put a time on that shit. That's like everything else in life. Like they say, God God last when you making your plan.
Show
Like,
him your plan.
yeah, you want to see God last, show him your plans. Like, it don't work like that.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation with Ravi before about certain things you can try to schedule in life, but you don't have to hold yourself so tight to that.
Right.
When you're 8 and you say I want a house, a family, and a car and all of that by the time I'm 25, you don't motherfucking realize that you might still be in school at 25.
Right. Or you might not be with the person that you want to have that family with and build with at 25.
But see, I wasn't even going to get into the relationship part because personally, you might got other shit to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like, we know what it take, man. Like, if you want to, and it's one thing, it's a great thing if y'all both in school or one is working, the other one in school, and y'all know how to push each other in. But you know how, that's a lot of strain on a relationship. Especially when you financially are trying to.
I think relationships are strained regardless of anything.
Oh, there's
else.
going to be strains.
Just relationships in itself is just a strain.
There's going to be strains.
It should be synonymous. Like, relationship, strain.
I just cussed Twin out, and I hate Maul, but I love them niggas. So all relationships have strains.
I was just talking about Maul. I'm gonna holler at Maul because I saw him doing, like, he was doing some work all the way up on the ceiling. And I was like, damn, because I want to get my house painted inside. It's got high ceilings. I was like, Maul could do that shit. So.
He's probably doing my grandma's house.
Yeah.
So shout out to Maul.
Shout out to Maul.
He just did my grandma's house recently.
So I was just talking about him yesterday. Like, oh, look at this. Let alone the picture that he showed was crazy.
But no, that's my guy, man. And it's like, sometimes I'll be like, Maul, if you don't cut it the fuck out. But that's relationships. And I don't have to be around him as much as his wife do. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I get it. But, like, I think that accountability is what all of this is about. It's like, we've all had situations where it's like, you know what? I kind of deserve that.
I think accountability is on an individual level. It's not a male or a female thing. I think
it's not.
Everybody needs to be accountable for their own actions. There's no excuses.
That's the thing.
It's not.
It's a people thing. It's like if the government would be accountable for slavery,
right?
All of this shit would be different right now.
I think what complements each other is like accountability, and then like the serenity prayer, right? No one like give me God grant me serenity to know the things that I control, you know, or give me wisdom. Like, you can't control everything, but the things you can control, be accountable for your actions. Like,
yeah, and I mean, people make mistakes. Players fuck up too.
Yeah, but be accountable for it. What's wrong with it?
But I mean, and that's on the other side, if that's somebody, you gotta respect the fact that motherfuckers make mistakes.
That's in everything.
As long as they're
friendships.
But you can only accept that if
business.
you can only accept that if they're accountable for it.
Absolutely.
Like, it's hard to keep just vouching for somebody making mistakes, like, because we grown, and it's like, yo, I'm not gonna keep telling myself that you just didn't know.
Yeah, no.
But you gotta tell me, like, yo, I'm gonna do better and show me better. And I got friends, real close friend of mine, I won't say his name, but we went through a rough patch early on in our relationship where out of everybody we was around, he was the one that was like, yo, just keep him away from me. I'm not talking to him, not saying his name, none of that shit. And then people started like piggybacking off my energy, and I shut that down because that's not fair. But I still was cool. But we wound up in a situation together where we was out of town together, and he asked me to take a walk with him and chop it up with him. He wanted to talk to me. He started, you know how niggas is, yo, you want to smoke this L with me?
Right.
Me being me. I'm good. Like, walk with me. I want to talk to you. All right, cool. So we went in the woods. We chop it up. And he basically said, you know, I know that some things I've done I got to get better with. And I've been going through some shit. And this is what I've been going through. And I respected that part of it because I was going through a lot of shit that was getting me in a lot of stuff, and nobody knew where it was coming from, but it was something else going on in my life. So I understood it. So he said, but I'm going to work on it and I'm going to do better. And I value your friendship and all of that. And when he said it, he had a clean slate. Like, as soon as he said it, it was like, let's see what happens now. It's not a thing with me.
Yeah, no, but both of you have to be, or not just you, but just in situations like that. But everybody has to be adult. I've given people clean slates as well. So you got to be mature enough to even approach a situation like that. Like,
no, I respected how he approached me. He humbled himself to do that. Not to mention the way those things was going, that walk could have went either way.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And he knows how I am. So for him to do that, I've forever got respect for him. And I've seen the brilliance in him since then. Not change. Like, I've seen, like, him grow by leaps and bounds as a human, regardless of how he treat me. He always treat me with love. You know what I mean? Ever since then. But it's like to the point where like you feel pride in that shit. Like, and it's funny because pride is misconstrued. A lot of times people say when you say you feel proud, it's like you demeaning somebody like they your child, or like you're responsible for it. When it comes from us, a lot of the times, I feel like it's because
I'm genuinely happy for you.
No, but no matter how much we want to deny it, we still represent us.
Yeah.
So it's like it's so few of us that are being publicized for what we're doing that every time I see somebody doing that look like me, I'm proud for us. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But if it's somebody I personally know, then it's like I could tell you this whole fucking Obama run to this motherfucker being who he is now from being the kid from, you know what I mean? Like I've seen it. And that gives you that gives you inspiration for life. Like that means any 3 to 5, 10 years you want to take out your life, you can figure some shit out and be a whole, not a different person, a better version of yourself.
Right.
That's inspirational, and that makes me proud. And that shows how dope motherfuckers is and how little a lot of people give themselves credit for it and don't try to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting better every day, Saf. Y'all got to help me out.
I think we all work in progress, right? Like, it's interesting. Another lyric that I always I reference a lot to some of my friends. Janae Aiko, one of her songs, she says, shame on me for changing. Shame on you for staying the same, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So I think we all are work in progress, and we all have to maintain that constant growth, or you'll be stagnant if you don't. Like if you don't grow, what are you? Fucking in the same place.
If you don't grow, you dead.
Right? Like
if you don't grow, anything that doesn't grow is dead.
So,
period.
Listen, I'm alive. I'm shaking. I'm moving. I'm well. Fuck that.
Nah, that's what it is. But that was crazy. We got in a lot of shit. Some deep shit. One more thing I wanted to ask you about before we get the fuck out of here.
What's up?
Is I was watching somebody talk, and he was explaining that the school system actually causes the disparity in the children in the school with uniforms.
Causes disparity with
now I'm gonna explain to you why he said when you got a uniform, everybody's supposed to look what? The same. Right? So when you have so if you go to school with everybody wear Jordans, everybody's supposed to look the same. What if you can't handle Jordans? He's saying the school puts these kids in a mindset that where they notice who's different and they ostracize who's different based on uniformity. Not saying uniforms specifically, but based on the idea of looking the same. He's saying that it makes it where the kids that wouldn't give a fuck with sneaks or whatever that kid had on are now looking at everything because they're scrutinized by how they walk out the house because they have to be uniform. And I was wondering how that, I don't know if I do either, but I thought it was an interesting perspective because I've been to uniform and non-uniform schools. Yeah,
but my point is this. So because they're looking at your Jordans, if you didn't have a uniform, they're going to be looking at your Primark and Bobo outfit versus they whole.
Well, what he was saying wasn't based on necessarily.
But what I was also going to say was, what private schools
he's
are they
talking about the mentality.
What uniforms are they talking about? Because it's different levels to this, right?
No, and that's the thing. It's levels to uniforms.
Exactly. So
that's
the
what I was
school
saying.
that my niece goes to, she cannot come into school not in uniform. They cannot have brown or black school shoes. They cannot have hair and they color in their hair. They have to be in uniform. They have to have every single piece or they get. Which brings up another thing though, because aside of that, something that's an argument is that, and I don't want to use the wrong wording, but that's the way that they are already like preparing the children for the system. Because if they're not in full uniform, a lot of the schools in the city, if they're not in uniform, they get suspended. Once they get suspended, they start, if they're sued a few times, they either get kicked out or however else it defers them to the system. But it begins from them not wearing their uniform. But it's over clothing.
But what happens is,
you know what I mean?
You know how I mean? Kids wake up in the morning and they ain't got no clean pants.
And it says something like if the parent don't come to sign, then it's truancy. If the parent don't come to sign them back in, or like there's so many different levels and avenues of how.
But what did you just say? They have specific things they can and can't wear. And I remember being in uniform and growing and whatever, having 2 or 3 pair school pants
Right.
that was uniform.
Right.
There's kids that wake up and don't have fucking pants.
Right.
And then you send them down this line of expulsion
Exactly.
based on dress, where he's not better off out of school for a pair of pants.
I never understood that anyway.
Do you know what I used to do when I got suspended? Order 2 large pizzas
This is
and
my
watch
point.
the longest fucking movie I could find.
Yo, kids are gonna hate me. Yo, listen, not to take too much more time, but kids are gonna hate me. I never understood why when kids get in trouble, you take them out of school. For me, I'd be like, make them go to school
Go to
on
school.
Saturday. Like, make them go to school like
Remember
longer.
on the wire
like,
when Naaman kept trying to get kicked out of school so he could go hustle?
Yes, like
Like
there's no point.
the
in
fun shit is
suspension.
out there.
What's the point in suspension?
No,
So-
you ever had an in-house suspension?
No,
Worst shit in the world. Especially if they keep the door open.
you gotta sit in a room.
You gotta sit in this fucking office. It's usually a disciplinary office. They keep you separate from them so that you don't really bother them, but you right there so they can see you. But everybody, if the door's open, everybody that walks past the office is looking at you like, you in the and they fucking with you and you can't say nothing.
So I guess I had in-house suspension, but it wasn't that because I was about to fight like these girls, like somebody was trying to roll on me and I didn't care and I was trying to fight. So the
Been there.
disciplinarian made me stay in the office because I was like, I don't care. Like I'm fighting all of them. Like what are you doing? Like you are really drawn. Like
Get out
she
my
made
way.
my dad come get me and everything. Like you are drawn. So it was similar to that, but that was the only time I had to sit somewhere and not been able to get out. So I never had actual suspension.
Most legendary in-house suspension was I got Mitch.
Mitch,
Because I remember Mitch being in there and I
Mitch.
remember the whole school talking about it. And Mitch used to never really get in trouble because he's
my
smart.
homie Mitch, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Mitch.
Mitch was always slick. He just fucked with him. But
Me and
he,
Mitch share the same birthday.
he got suspended for some reason this day. And when he got out of in-house suspension, he ran around the whole school screaming, out on bail, fresh out of jail. I swear to God he did, yo. Like he ran past my class doing that shit. But the reason I wound up on in-house suspension and then we can close it is I got in a fight after school one day. And I beat the brakes off this boy over some shit he said about my mom in math class. He said it during 8th period, and I tried to fuck the class up. But my man was like, yo, it's 0 tolerance. You gonna play yourself, chill.
Mm-hmm.
So I waited until after school. I thought I handled it right.
Mm-hmm.
So he went home. He was looking bad. His mom asked him what happened. He said he got jumped. So she calls the school because he's getting picked on. Mind you, he's bigger than I am now.
Right.
When he was a freshman. He was
Right.
bigger than I am now. So they call up, and now I'm getting called down, ready to get expelled for inciting him getting rolled on because I'm the ringleader. But I spent the whole walk saying, don't touch him. Nobody touch him. And nobody touched him. So we in the office, and the first thing I hear is, yeah, so they said that he got jumped. I said, who jumped him? Who else touched you? Tell him in front of me who the fuck else touched you right now. Just calm down, sit down. Like, and it got to that, right? So then it got to the point where, all right, y'all was fighting. They can't prove that he got rolled on because it didn't happen. Both of us are suspended. But it's first period. They won't let both of us leave because we might walk outside and rumble the whole way home. So I had to stay in fucking school all day. He got to go home.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, this is some bullshit. So that was my in-house day. Then I had like 3 out schools. Yeah, the next 3 days.
Yeah, the point is, I never understood why they make kids not go to school. They
Fuck
should
no.
they should have been disciplined with more school.
Yeah,
Project
I mean, yeah,
reports.
projects. That's what I was about to say.
I
Give 'em
will
work.
not fuck up. I will not fuck up. Like 500 times. What happened
That
to
shit works because you don't ever want to do it again. Simple.
I made my sons do it. I remember having to do it. My mom used to make me eat soap, but that's something.
You was Bart Simpson?
Yeah.
Remember they used to change it every week?
Yeah.
Simpsons is genius.
It was interesting. It was interesting for me to watch the Jones he used to, or the different things he used to write.
But it's been good talking to you.
Always.
Think I'm gonna get out of here and put some sunshine on my face.
Hey, I am the sunshine. Not going on his face. Definitely the sunshine though.
Thanks for clearing that up. I appreciate you for that. But tell the people where to get some more of your sunshine from.
Listen, I'm sunshine on all days. Sunshine on sunny days, cloudy days. Now, you can find me on The Scene magazine for all of your positive perspectives. We have everything you want from a positive perspective on thescenemagazine.com. Hallelujah.
Now,
Yes.
real quick,
Real
before
quick.
I sign out this bitch,
Yo.
we will be filming very soon with and at Shelliano Studios.
I love Shells. Yay.
Shells is on Friday.
Yo, Shells.
He was on
When,
Fly
this
Day.
Friday?
Yep. And the
I missed
motherfucking
him.
the joint was on the screen, and he said, "Who y'all talking to? Irv Gotti?" I said, "No, that's the boy Ravi." He said, "Yo, you and Sonny?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yo, I fucking Sonny my peoples." He like, "I got peoples, but Sonny my peoples." So shout out to Capo. Always shout out to Capo. Huh? But I just posted freestyles. He was in there with us all day acting crazy. Shout out to the OG, man. Legend in Philly. If y'all know who Shellyano is, get your
Absolutely.
weight up. The battle rap game was built off of
Shellyano.
niggas like him. But he definitely showed you a lot of love.
That is my folks.
And I told him, I said, we gotta get in the booth soon, so y'all gonna hear some music from us soon, because he was on my neck about that. He like, you bullshit. I'm like, you right. Cause what I'm gonna tell Shell.
Right.
But at the same time, he was
Shout
like,
out
yo,
Shellyano.
you should what's the name? I'm like, bro, I'll come film at your pup with Sonny.
Right.
He like, word. He like, yeah, they still getting it all together, but it's there, like it's
We're
situated.
there.
I'm like, bro, I need one wall. Point me to the good wall and we shooting. Fuck it.
Yeah.
So we gonna do that soon. But
I'm there. I love Shell.
I've been meaning to hit you up about that, but it was only Friday, so you ain't missed much.
I was trying to come on Friday, and so many things happened.
Shell was there when I pulled up. Him Low was in the middle of the street. Then Clev came, Wild Bill came. Like all the legends niggas was in there.
Dang, I missed it.
Friday was crazy at 3:00, and we don't start till 4.
I wish you would have called me.
That
you
shit was
text me
rocking
next time?
today. My bad, I got you.
When shit like that happen,
I
you gotta
got
text me.
you. But this has been another episode of Sippin' with Sammie. I am Sippin' with Sammie, Sam Malone, Barstool, Rook. If you ain't Sippin' with Sammie, you ain't sipping right. Get your fucking life together. And that was Saf. And make sure you support Font Productions, man. Font Philly on Instagram for holding it the fuck down. You seen the logo. Find out what the fuck go along with it. It's a lot.
Shout out to glocawear.
Salute the glocawearradiostation. You definitely got the official team tee on.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had them on the other day. I'm like, Took, you bought another batch? But I ain't got a fresh Sippin' with Sammie tee, so I ain't got the new glocawear tee.
Ow. You out this joint.
All right. Check out episodes every Thursday at 4 p.m. Check me out on Glocawear Radio every Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. We run happy hour, the best happy hours in the world on the greatest station in the nation. Glocawear Radio, Flyboy Friday Radio, Sippin' with Sammie podcast. And we the fuck out of here.
It's the king of hooks, baby. Sam Malone, what up? Corey. Yeah, baby. They ain't right at all. Get what you're looking for. Yeah. They ain't right. In the streets, we can't cry no more. Corey.
Slick as I wanna be, smooth as ever seen. Melody could be felony. What you telling me? What? Learn to play from Bill Bellamy, Peter Guns, someone else. I'm something else, something different. That's what she sniffing. Call Malone shit, different from pimping. Scene was basic till I slipped in, trapping, loading, clipping, saying on niggas bitches. I call niggas bitches. I bet handle business first boy yank like incense. Twist 3, dismiss. That's Malone's mission. Music business, I'm trafficking. What was mastered in led through a path to sin. Walls crashing in, cashing in. Couldn't figure out what was happening, but trapped again. Backfire from trapping in. Shit, ironic as hell. My pockets loud in the cell while waiting on Tiny to post bell. Oh hell.
Get what you're looking for. They ain't right. In the streets, we can't cry no more.
At all.
They ain't right. Don't fight right through the pain. They ain't right. Sammy walk through the gate.
Can't fight tears, I can't find fear that ain't mine. I can't see big blind, spend time showering shit time. Outside I'm on hills, all 10 ground. Like tunnels with backwoods, sparkwoods count. Nice pitch black, go legit. Switch back, loud pack, 6-pack, VA hardly switch that. Ready to flip mattress, couches, and pout. Something about grinding it out, I'm so bout it. Ready to get what I came for. Same ball, plenty corners bent in my stint, I became more. When it became war, I